I'm Jesse Sylvester.
And I'm Randy Sylvester, and welcome to an episode of Brain Squats, where we help you to create new daily habits for better tomorrows. I personally find myself in a rut, and one of the things that I would I've thought about trying to do and need to start doing are micro habits. And you might be thinking what those are. Well, they're just 1 minute uh tasks of a new habit that you would like to begin. So for instance, if I wanted to start the guitar, I go out and just play the guitar for a minute. Not even that, just pull the guitar string, just touch it. And you do that once a day, and the hope is to not just the hope, but I mean, you'll also start to gain that new mentality that, okay, this time, this is what I do. And it becomes less and less of a chore, um, as it is you know, just something that's part of your life.
That actually kind of flows right into my first talking subject is that I everybody started the first year. Most people want to try to lose 5, 10, 15 pounds, whatever it is. And most people actually gain anywhere between 8 to 20 pounds, well, at least the average American, between Halloween and the first of the year. And everybody, or at least a large demographic of people, first jump to, hey, I'm going to go into the gym. I'm going to be running. I'm going to burn myself out. And actually, on your point of micro topics or micro habits, this is actually perfect because my whole thing is don't start with running. You should really be just starting with walking, especially if you haven't been doing anything. That walking is so powerful. And 30 minutes a day, which sounds like a lot of time to people. I mean, 10 minutes a couple times a day, 5 minutes a few times a day. If you work in a big office, trying to just get some walking to and from, take the long way to the bathroom. It's super easy to get that much walking in where you're not killing yourself, burning yourself out, creating the wrong adaptation that you might really want to get out of it. And it's just where you, like you were saying, like getting those small, tiny habits where it's like, oh, maybe I get home from work, I take the dog for a walk. Before I go to bed, maybe I'm taking the dog for another walk. When I get up, I take the dog for a walk. These small things, whereas before you might have just let the dog go in the backyard, not really stressed about it. And then it's a great way to really start increasing those habits or increasing the time that you're being active or how many calories you're burning or anything like that. It's such a simple way. Whereas if I'm running, that I got to go to the gym, I got to cut out a part of my day, I got to dedicate this time, where walking can be just enjoyable. Like you were saying, like, oh, I don't want it to be a chore. I mean, I know what it's like to be like, oh man, like going for a walk, it sounds so pointless. And then you go, and I know getting the chance to go with my girlfriend, go with Taylor, just 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk, I always feel great afterwards. I'm always happy that I did it, and it was always a great conversation, great time to share, um you know uh with her. um and then I see you also have this, your next topic, using current habits. What about that?
I mean, building off of existing habits are always a easy way to incorporate a new habit. So, if you get home from work, if you have the ability to, and you don't have anything restraining you, going to the gym right after work, don't go home. Once you go home, then you start to kind of cycle down. But when you're already out and about, just heading straight for the gym, that's an easy way to help you to incorporate that into your day, because now you're you're already, you got to go to work anyway. So there's no excuse for you to be like, oh, I'm already home, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. And it helps you to just get there, which is really half the battle. Um, is just getting yourself to do it. That's some of the reasons why I chose some of these points, is because I want, I thought to myself, how can people start their new year off right? And to me, yeah, you can say like, oh, learn this, learn that, do this, but without reaching the point where you're doing those, you know, that's all void. So, or mute. So to me, the most important is actually starting these things. So
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think that it is definitely a chore, and it's really easy to wait for that motivation to strike, especially the first of the year. You're like, I'm gonna do it, I'm all that. And then it's really at the end of the day, it's do you have the discipline? Do you really have the self want to do these things? Whereas with your point, you're consistently building these small, tiny changes in your life, and that kind of brings me to my next point of setting yourself up for success. I think that it sounds goofy because it's like, who's really setting themselves up for failure? But one of the best things that's going to make you successful, and not just being healthy or having a better lifestyle, but in your just life overall, is getting a good night's sleep. Most people just write it off. Oh, it's okay. I'll get 6 hours. I'll get 7 hours. I'll watch TV, and I'll have my surround sound booming and just going wild all the way up to the second that you go to bed. If I just got done watching a scary movie or an action packed flick, and my heart's pumping, it's going to be hard for me to go to sleep. It's hard for me to wind down. Whereas maybe I was, maybe just kind of hanging out and talking a little bit, or just winding down, or just kind of getting through my routine of setting myself up for a good night's sleep. You get a good night's sleep, you wake up ready to start your day, ready to, build in those new habits, build in, into your schedule, whatever it is that you want to do. And this is so for so many things, if you want to be eating healthier, try and set your week up. And, if you don't have a lot of time to be cooking throughout the day, cook those meals in advance, cook those meals when you have time. And I'm no stranger. It might not be the most enjoyable thing, but even if you're trying to make those meals as enjoyable as possible, set yourself up for good meals. It's a really easy to be like, oh, I'm tired, I'm going to have junk. Or, what, I'm on my way home from work, I'm exhausted, I'm going to have some junk. Oh, I got my, I was able to go to the workout, but now I'm tired after the workout, and on the way home from the gym. And, it's rather than, winning that battle and then going into the next battle and winning again, you're losing the battle because you're on the way home and you're like, oh man, I'm just smoked. I can't find the energy to want to really go home, fry me up some food, cook, pop something in the oven, prep myself something, things like that. But if you kind of set yourself up for the week or for the day, however that you find yourself in those situations, I think that's really one of the goals for success, is that rather than being proactive, you're being reactive to the situation. It's, I'm tired, so therefore I did this, rather than I did this because I knew that I would be tired. I think that that's just one of the most powerful things that you could possibly do.
I mean, you saying that brings me to my other point. And I actually, these 2 points can kind of go hand in hand and go along with what you were saying, but mentality, I think, is a big part of it. And I think a lot of the reason that people get in these ruts, are, turning their wheels, not getting anywhere, is because they're so hard on themselves. If you go out and you go to the gym, I don't care if you're there for 5 minutes, you only do the bench press, and then you leave and you're like, I'm done. You don't want to get home and be like, man, I only spent 5 minutes there. I only did that. I only did this. That don't matter. You succeeded in my book. You've done it. That's what you need to tell yourself. Good job, me. I did that. The goal is to, go back and do at least as much or a little bit more. And you just keep building off of that. You got to let that momentum build. You can't, you know, you can't make yourself your own enemy and fight yourself. You're already fighting everything else that life's throwing at you. Why make it more difficult for yourself? Just, be, your own worst critic. And that my other point was to you just going in there and messing around or whatever. I don't like I said, I don't care if you goof around. You just being there, you've already succeeded. So
The it's so funny that you say that because I one of the things I hate is it drives me absolutely insane is when somebody's like, all that dressing on that salad is just horrendous for you. I'm sorry, would you rather me eat chocolate cake? I mean, I always like to use it, and I'm sure you've heard me say it too many times, but the dartboard analogy. I mean, really, I mean, if you've never played darts, dude, you're just trying to hit the board. You're just trying to get somewhere on there, and then you progress, right? Oh man, look at me, I'm hitting the board every time, and then it's, I'm gonna try to hit a bullseye, and it's like you're trying to hit a bullseye, and then from there, then you can maybe be able to manipulate things more where you're trying to play games where you're hitting specific numbers and things like that. And just trying to get on the board is just sometimes difficult because you get really hard on yourself. It's like, why, you get this all or nothing mentality where it's like, I'm either doing 7 days a week of bettering myself, eating healthy, going to the gym, adding in these new lifestyles, learning a new language, reading 7 books in one day. I'm going to work overtime every day. It's like, you're expecting too much. You gotta, build your sandcastle with that first, sprinkle of sand. You gotta slowly build upon it. You can't expect yourself to just be a different person overnight or be just miraculous overnight. You got to allow yourself that chance to grow, that chance to be better. And actually this flows right into a marathon is not a sprint. This entire thing, changing lifestyles, getting healthier, whatever it is that you're trying to do here, build new habits, things like that. It is a marathon. It is a long-term game. All the time. I mean, I see, I mean, I just talked to a buddy, not but 2 weeks ago. He hadn't been working out, probably hadn't worked out in a few years. And he was like, yeah, I've been working out. I've started working out 6 days a week. That would be like if you had somebody that come to you and say, hey man, I just can't seem to have any energy. And then you saw them the week after and they were like, hey dude, I found tons of energy. Oh, well, what did you do? I started doing cocaine. You went from 0 to just 4,000 in a blink of an eye. It's like, have you tried drinking more water? Have you tried maybe taking some B12? Have you tried a cup of coffee? There's many steps before you go ahead and you just do the most drastic thing. So it's just crazy how easy it is to get yourself in that all or nothing where it's like one day. If you've been doing nothing one day a week or 5 minutes, you said go to the gym and do some bench press. If you're at home, do some push-ups. You don't even have to go to the gym. Go for a walk, do some push-ups, do these really simple things and allow it to flow, kind of into your lifestyle, or into building upon itself. It's like maybe I started doing 10 push-ups a day, and then I started doing 25 push-ups a day, and then I started doing 50 push-ups a day, and then I started having a 20-minute workout routine, and then I started doing that 3 times a week, and then I started doing 45 minutes and then an hour. It doesn't have to be overnight. It should be over the course of days, weeks, months, and years. It's so easy to find yourself in that.
I mean, you saying doing it at home, I know at least for me personally, can be a little bit difficult. And I know for others, I'm sure it is as well. Um, Sometimes changing location or changing your attire can really change your state of mind. Uh, if you're outside of the house, you're not thinking about things that are, going on in the home. You're thinking you're able to focus on the task at hand or changing your attire. It's the same way with the scientist putting his work uniform on. That that helps him to put game face on whenever he's putting uh you know his attire on. And I think that even just putting your workout clothes on helps you to create that mindset that it's like, okay, I put my workout clothes on, that means I work out. And help create that state of mind. Even things when you wake up first thing in the morning, that's probably the most important time to create your state of mind. Uh, Thinking about what you're already going to try to map out what you're going to do for the day. Um, you know, there there's a lot of different techniques and things that you can do first thing in the morning, but and we can get into that in another episode. But just like I said, the state of mind is so important that that's what you want to hyper focus on what you're doing.
Yeah, I can see that. It's no different than you hear people say things like look good, feel good, or um it's like when you're going on a date, you get dressed up to, present yourself a certain way and act accordingly and things like that. I totally see that. I can see how changing your appearance or changing your clothes or getting ready. There's actually a thing called the 2-minute rule, and I actually suggest this to a lot of people when they have trouble finding their motivation to come to a session or to head to the gym for extra days or things like that. But it's 2-minute rules. Do whatever you're going to do for 2 minutes, and then if you really just don't want to continue, that's the whole shebang. It's tie the shoes or walk into the gym or walk into wherever it is that you want to be. Give yourself 120 seconds. If you're really like, I hate this and I don't want to do this, or this is miserable, then switch gears or find a different way to maybe attack it or approach it. Whatever's going to get you in that mindset, whatever's going to help build that routine or that ritual kind of around getting you in that mindset that you want to be there and you want to do these things, not that you have to, and it's this grueling process and it's miserable. And that actually brings me to do what you enjoy. These a lot of people think that this or that, like healthy food, for example, has to be this, no seasoned, no sauces, no anything. All your vegetables are raw or steamed or these different things. And it doesn't have to be that drastic. There's so many healthy recipes that you can have that are just still amazing. It still tastes so good. And it's hard when you try to bridge that gap of, this is what I wanted to taste like, but this is what I wanted to give me or provide for me. Or it's like if I had it my way, I would have to say that I think that most people should resistance train. But if you enjoy I was saying don't run earlier. If you enjoy running and that's just so good for you, I think it's just powerful. You're going to enjoy it. The best thing that that you're going to be consistent with and stay frequent with and build good habits around is going to be stuff that you're going to enjoy. If you love weightlifting, you're going to be more apt to do that or more likely to do it. or if you love running, you're going to be more likely to go running, or yoga, or Pilates or Zumba or whatever it is that you really find enjoyable, or you find kind of yourself doing. Um, a lot of the times that they're going to be some of the best things that you can do. Now, there's definitely exceptions to that rule. For example, if what you enjoy is maybe really doing you less good than bad, but that's kind of be some stuff that maybe we're going to get into, I think, in a later episode, or in another conversation. But actually, I that brings me, so doing what you enjoy. If we do have some people that are like, man, it's a new year, I want to get running, what is some of the best ways that you can kind of get started? If I haven't been running for a year, 2 years, or the last decade, and I wanted to get into maybe doing some light jogging, what would you recommend?
I mean, it would be the same as kind of like the micro habits. It's those baby steps. And, one of the problems that I've ran into, and like what you were saying was, do what you love. And if you love running, yeah, go ahead and jump in. But one of the downsides can be is, if you go from doing nothing to jumping into something, and I mean, this is most things, it's very easy to overdo yourself. So you
Oh,
gotta,
yeah, I'm not saying throw everything in the kitchen sink at it, but I'm just saying
yeah.
how to get started. I don't think that you should be, oh, I'm going to run until I'm drop dead exhausted. What is a good way? Should I maybe do light jogging for 20 minutes, or should I do a walk run, or what is some of like the maybe the most simple advice that you'd be able to give?
I mean, I would say it probably depends on kind of your goal for running. I know the best bang for buck is the run walk, because you're getting the most out of it with the least amount of pressure on you and your body. uh but if you're tackling it from more of a runner's perspective, where you're like, I want to increase mileage, or I just want to be able to do more for longer, I would definitely say to do a light jog of the amount that you want to do. The I would probably say, just starting out, I maybe like a quarter to half a mile, and then slowly ramp it up. I think each week you want to increase it by 10% roughly. Um, and your body will let you know if it's too much too fast. If your knees are feeling a little rough, you can even extend that, where it's like, every 2 weeks do another 10%. Um, but I would say the key is to try to jog. Doesn't matter how slow, but try to jog the whole distance. And then to whether you want to increase distance, I'd say, focus on the distance, or if you want to be faster, then you can, whichever way you want to tackle it. So you can increase speed and then distance, or distance and then speed. um you could even try a little bit of both, but again, you don't want to tackle too much at one time. I know I personally, I used to go into the gym, and first day back, you're feeling really good. You can slap on all this extra weight that you can do, but what people don't realize is, you don't they feel that they need all this to make progress, but you're getting stronger, you're making progress by going in there and just doing the bar. I mean, the bar is, if anything, you'll make more progress, because you won't be destroyed the next day, because You won't, all you have to do is tear your muscles. You don't have to destroy them.
Y-
But
Yeah, give yourself that room to grow. It's definitely not throw everything in the kitchen sink at it. Like we were saying before, the or the setting yourself up for success. If I go in there and I destroy myself day one, day two sucks. I'm not a lot of these things are like medicine, right? If the doctor gives me antibiotics and says take 2 of these a day, if I take 6, I'm not getting healthier faster. I'm not getting rid of whatever's going on faster. If anything, I might actually hurt myself more in the end. So it's about how to find that right dose. If I have a headache and I go take some Advil, if I take 1 pill, it might not do anything. But if I take 20 pills, it might be the last headache I ever have. So, finding that sweet spot where you can progress from and really give yourself that room to grow. And a lot of people don't focus on that quality. Where, how you were saying, like your body would let you know. Sometimes it's just like, man, every time I go do the gym or I go run or I go do these things, it's like I feel like crap. Maybe start focusing going on in there, just feeling good when you leave, or feeling good the next day, or feeling like your body is improving, rather than you're just destroying it and you're just going through this, sore recover, cycle of I go to the gym, I feel awful, I get better. I go to the gym, I feel awful, I get better. You're just creating this loop rather than that kind of stress oscillation where you're stressing your body out, you're causing yourself to adapt, and then you're coming back to balance, and then you're ramping it up again, so on and so forth. And if you're able to accomplish this in a 24-hour period, that's awesome. But if you're waiting for an entire week to feel better, or if you're waiting for an entire month or however long that you're creating this soreness, it's probably too long. It's something that you should feel better each and every day. And if you are, which is something that's sometimes difficult to do because you want to progress incredibly quickly, and it's hard to reel that in a lot of the times. And this is speaking from experience. I all the time. I mean, if I miss a day, I want to try and rebound that, and I know that I can't. You miss that day, and it's okay. It's to accept that and say, hey, I'm back on track. I missed that day. It is what it is. Got to move forward. And making sure that I don't, it's not going to help me if I decide, oh, I missed yesterday's workout. Now I have to do today and yesterday's workout on top of each other. That's not going to benefit me. The second half of the workout is probably going to be total garbage, or you're not getting a whole lot out of it, and you're probably going to just destroy what the following workouts the rest of the week or the next day is going to be, because you're overdoing it. So it's finding that sweet spot, where you're not doing too much too quickly, hurting those knees, hurting your joints, and you're right, your body will let you know, and it will let you know quickly. And a lot of times, I have to say that, and once again through experience, you ignore that. You don't want to have to say, oh well, I guess my joints are kind of bothering me. Maybe I should reel it in a little bit. Um, to switch gears here, I actually wanted to go into a little bit of a different topic, just talking about how uh, a lot of people struggle with this, because we're talking about how to make a lot of habits and things like that, and this is almost contrary to those. But I think one of the most important things you can do whenever you're trying to make some of these lifestyle habits is actually eat more, not less. And that sounds crazy, but especially if you're like me and you can have a crazy sweet tooth, and I know how I can be. I can have such a crazy sweet tooth. It's don't just cut everything out of your diet, especially if it's been consistent. Find a way to actually replace those things with some really good whole natural food, and you're going to find that you're going to be satiated. You're going to be nice and full at the end of the day, and this is going to really set you out for success in the future, where you, rather than me saying, oh, I have 3 crappy meals and then dessert at the end of the day, and oh, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out dessert. The best thing that you can do is just add in better food. It's it's kind of like soda, right? One of the best ways to get people to stop drinking soda is give them a water goal. If you drink 3 cans of soda a day, and I tell you, hey, I want you to drink 150 ounces of water a day, you're not going to be as thirsty to try and get the Coca-Cola in. You might naturally go, to less soda. You might naturally, instead of drinking 3, you might naturally drink 2 or 1 instead, or cut it out altogether because you're like, holy cow, I'm drinking so much water. It's actually hard for me to get these other liquids in.
Uh, just to just to jump back, and I mean it still plays in with the food or whatever, but don't be discouraged or surprised if you're trying to do these things at first and then you feel like, oh well, this is a little bit of a hassle, or I don't really feel like doing this. You're not alone in feeling that way. I've felt that way too whenever I'm trying to tackle and start something new. And you'll notice that if you keep up with it, that as the days go on, your mentality will slowly begin to shift. At first it's like, this is a hassle, this is a drag, to, oh, I guess it's okay, I don't really mind it. And then, uh, you start to not even notice it, and then it's just like, all right, let's get this done. And then, you may even begin to enjoy it, and then it's like, oh man, looking forward to getting in there, getting in the gym, or eating these good foods, or whatever else. So, I mean, just you just got to move your body and move your mind, and the rest will slowly come with it.
I completely understand that. I think that it's laziness begins more laziness. If you've ever just sat around all day, which I think everybody has, it's so easy to sit all day. You got the day off. You're like, I'm gonna watch TV until lunchtime, and then you're being lazy, and then you don't want to cook, and then so you go get something, and then you're being more lazy, and then at the end of the day somebody says, oh hey, let's go do this, and you're like, nah, man, I'm tired, I want to stay home, I don't really want to do anything. It's, how are you tired? You haven't done anything. You've literally sat on your butt the whole day. So it's really easy to catch yourself in that rut of just that laziness gets more lazy, rather than once you get that ball rolling, that snowball going down the hill, where each time it makes a turn, it picks up more snow and goes and goes and goes. And then by the next thing you know, you have a giant boulder. It's also having the patience to wait for that snowball to roll around in the snow, though, especially, it, unfortunately, these things aren't as easy as letting it roll down a hill. You have to roll it around the yard so that you can pick up all that snow for that snowman. So I think it applies either way. If you're, being lazy about anything, or if you're struggling to find that motivation, and a lot of people, our listeners might think that we're sitting here trying to talk about motivation, and we're really not. We're talking about how to do these things without motivation, without needing to feel at all times like, I want, I'm just going to do it. Let's go. I'm hyped. And it sucks having to try to hype yourself up to do stuff like just to do simple tasks, whereas once you get that ball rolling and it's just part of your daily life, and you're ready to go into these things, it's almost so simple to jump into it. If the first thing I do whenever I wake up, I go and I get my lunch ready for the day, I'm never going to go to work and not have lunch. Or if every time that I get home, I clean the kitchen's never going to be too dirty to cook for dinner in. It's whatever habits that you end up setting up for yourself, and finding ways that it just becomes part of your life, rather than it being this daunting task to add on to your day.
Well, and I mean, and to me, that's why it, like you said, if the motivation was there, you know, none of this would be relevant because you already be doing the things that you want to do. We're trying to get you to the point where you can build motivation, you can, get yourself to do those things that you've at this point struggled to get yourself to do, which is, I'd have to say, brings me to the what I think's the most important and the least important topics, which were the least or the most important is don't give yourself a chance. Let yourself, take the little successes. I mean, take whatever you do, that's gold star for you. You succeeded. Um and I'd have to say just forming the habit.
Yeah, I think that there's actually an amazing quote that I don't actually know who said it or what it's from. I just remember hearing this maybe like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, and I thought it was such an amazingly good way to look at things. And it's that hard work is the sum of daily efforts, and it really is. It's if I put 10 minutes into something every single day, and you put 1 hour into something once a week, at the end of the week, I've actually put in more time than you. It's and it even then it probably felt less daunting, or those 10 minutes were probably of a better quality than the 60 minutes that you put into. So it's really just to find a way to keep up that hard work, to keep those small daily efforts in, so that they just compound and they accumulate onto themselves. It's like it's like having a 401k where or you talking about running where you're adding that 10%, it compounds onto itself. It's, if you have 100 and you add 10%, that's 110, but then 10% of that is 11, or I guess 11.1 or whatever. But the fact is every time you add that same percentage to it, it compounds upon itself, and then it becomes more and grows. So it's just something that's so powerful at the end of the day.
I mean, I think Mark Zuckerberg also said something to the effect of, it's more important to finish than it is to be perfect.
Thanks for checking us out. If you liked our content, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.